It's another week in Portland State women's basketball. We're here with head coach Lynn Kennedy. Coach, another road trip this last weekend, a quick 2-game road trip this time as opposed to an 8-gamer that we saw earlier in the season. Talk a little about the close losses that you guys had on the road. You were in both games, but just that one quarter kind of let the game slip away.
Well, it's kind of been a theme all year, but I think for our team this year, the progression that we've had throughout the year, especially during conference season, it's been exciting to see. I think even going on the road and having another 2 close games on the road against Idaho State and Weber State shows that we're getting there. We're not there yet, but I think that, if we clean up some things, and it's been usually one quarter, but I liked how we played against Idaho State, especially in the fourth quarter, to get down and then rally back, get down again and then come back right at the end and have a chance. It seems like every game it's 1 or 2 possessions right at the end, but, to battle against, probably one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the conference and to be able to show what we have at the end of a game and to be that close says a lot about this young team. And then Weber State, we got down. They were hot to start. First quarter, give them a lot of credit. They came out firing and were making shots. And, to see us respond the way we did in the second and the third quarters, and even in the fourth quarter, I think we won the second and the fourth quarter, shows a lot about, just our maturity as a team, how we're getting better. We didn't come away with wins in the weekend, but I think our team is getting better. And when you talk about postseason play, you want to be playing your best basketball at the end. I think we're getting close to that.
The Vikings have started virtually all sophomores every game this season. It's a young team, but at this point of the season, I don't think anybody's sophomores anymore. Talk to me about just kind of the progression and the development of your young starters and the whole young roster that you have.
Well, I think, early on in the preseason was more about game experience. We didn't have that, especially with our red shirts coming in. They had taken a year off. So it was a game experience, and then it was playing better competition. We did that, playing some Pac-12, Big 12 schools. And then when we got into conference, it's just the grind that the Big Sky Conference, it's a good conference. I think from 1 to 12, any of the teams could win in the Big Sky tournament. So I think that, just the grind on the road, coming back to home, learning how to adapt, especially on the road, and in different games, different styles that you see along the way. So I think that we're still learning. I think that we are maturing and are growing up in this season, but at the same time, we still need to get better. We still need to keep working. We still need to clean up our turnovers and continue to work on our rebounding. I like a lot of the things we're doing offensively, and it shows, especially with our field goal percentage. But at the same time, just be quicker, be more athletic as far as getting to the basket, and maybe getting some second chance points as well. So I think when we look at all those things going into this weekend, there's a lot to keep working on, but there's a lot to be excited about too.
This season has seen a lot of firsts in a long time for Portland State women's basketball. The most recent stat to fall by the wayside is Sydney Riley going for 32 points against Weber State. Vikings haven't had a 30-point scorer since 2010. It's been a long time, and we kind of knew it was going to happen this year with Bolston and Riley coming so close so far. What did you see out of Riley this last game and really the last few games that she's been that consistent point scorer for us?
Well, I think with Sydney, she always plays hard. I think that we're trying to get her to play within the offense. She does such a good job as far as cutting, getting to the basket. And I think, especially against Weber State, she was able to knock down shots. So I think the teams are keying in on both Ashley and Sydney. So I think it says a lot about our unselfishness as far as our whole team. I think we're one of the top teams in the conference in assists. We're finding the open players. I think that's why our field goal percentage is so high. So it says a lot about our team, especially on the offensive end and the things that we are looking for. I've said, early on in the season, we could have 5 to 6 in double figures. Right now we usually have 2 or 3. So I think we're still progressing offensively. The idea is to get those players, you can be in the 20s, but we also need to get, 2 to 3 others to be up there as far as scoring as well too. So just to give us some more options. But I think she's playing extremely hard. Her shot's falling right now. She's playing with a lot of confidence. And for her, I think on the defensive end, it's picking up as well.
Vikings are home this weekend against the Montana schools, having split the previous games between the two schools on the road. Coach, we got Montana State coming in this week on Thursday night. They're tied for the league lead with North Dakota and Northern Colorado. Talk to me about what you've seen from them so far and what you can learn from the previous game going into this one.
Well, they're just an experienced team, and it shows the way they play. They're poised at the end of games. They've been shooting the ball really well the last couple weeks too, and they just play hard. I mean, in the game, it was just a physical, tough game at their place. I liked how we responded, getting down early and coming back and having, like I've said before, 1 or 2 possessions away at the end. But, they were able to step up, hit some big shots at the end of that game. They were able to get some stops. So I think going in, we continue to work on ourselves. I mean, I think that, the last few weeks, that's what we've been doing with this team and just trying to progress as far as our defensive intensity, the way that we're blocking out, the way that we're rebounding, and then the way that we're executing too. So I think going into this week, it's the same as far as how we approach this team. We know they're a top team. But we also know that we can play at a different level as well, and we haven't shown that yet. If you go back and look at our games, we're 1 quarter away in each game. So if we can clean that up and show all 4 quarters, I don't think we've had that all year, maybe since Seattle U. And so I think if we can get back to that, we can give some of these tough teams in our league a good game and maybe even at home be able to pull off an upset.
Saturday afternoon, the Vikings host the Lady Grizz here at 2 o'clock. Coach, Montana went winless in league for a long time, something that they don't normally do and haven't done in maybe ever. Right. But they're coming off a couple of wins the last couple of games. Talk to me about what you've seen of them late that has propelled them to some of those wins.
Well, I think, going back to our year last year, you knew teams that weren't winning had chances to win, and I think that they were in the same position this year. They were close in a lot of games. And I think that, they got to a point, and we could see it coming as coaching staff. We're like, they're going to beat somebody here pretty soon. And it just happened to be last weekend where they put 2 games together, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're growing up as well as a young team, and now they're in a position, they're understanding what they want to get done as far as offensively, and then defensively they're picking it up. But they're a tough team as well. I mean, I think any team in the Big Sky this year has a chance to win a game. I mean, you look at every team, and there's been so many upsets. So we've got to be ready. We've got to have our best game on Saturday. And just looking into next week going on the road as well, we've got to continue to get better and continue to look for that postseason and just be playing our best basketball.
The Vikings host Montana State here at the Stott Center Thursday night at 7 o'clock before hosting Montana Saturday at 2. For more information, visit govikes.com.